All right, guys, welcome to the SRS segment of the TNO. We have Ryan Barlament with us. Did I say that right, Ryan?
You did, yeah.
All right, awesome. Thanks for joining us, man. You were probably a little confused as to why I got the invite on here, but anytime. Let me give you some numbers. Last week we had 7,000 agents submit a life app, and out of that 7,000 that submitted a life app, only 100 submitted an annuity. So our deal is like we need to open people's eyes to really what this is all about, and really get them to understand they're not as complicated as people might think, and B, if you're not asking the question, you're somewhat crazy. Because and we're going to go through your story a little bit, and the first annuity you wrote, and kind of how you just really stumbled into it, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna get through all that, and then kind of get some advice from you, from being a new agent standpoint of maybe the fear of not knowing enough, and maybe looking dumb in an appointment when they ask you a question that you can't answer, all that stuff. So Ryan, thanks again for hopping on with us. How long have you been at FFL?
I started in FFL. Actually, it was December of last year, and then I really got on. I went full time in January.
Full time in January. Okay.
Yep,
And did you just get your life insurance license in December?
I did. Actually, my buddy Richie Crahall, he's my upline. He's been after me for quite some time, and he said, "I'll just pay for you to take the test." And I said, "All right, let's do it." So that was probably about 2 years ago. I didn't study, and I got a 69 on the test, and I was all mad, and I was like, "Okay, I'm done with this." And then he's like, "No, just do it one more time." So I did it again. I got a 68, and it was like 2 days after. And then I went on the whole FFL is a scam, multi-level marketing, and I hated it. Hated on him and everybody else. And and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. And then that's when I actually studied for the test. I passed it in December because he told me, he said, Ryan, I'm doing really well at this. And I was like, all right, if he can do it. Him and I worked together in college. We've been close ever since. And so I was like, all right, let's just try it. So that's where he kind of talked me into it, made me do it. And then now I'm thankful for it, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So started really in January, and you're doing, just ILC leads, final expense, Facebook final expense, and then more, if you can find mortgage leads, run a few of those as well.
Yep. So I do mortgage leads, final expense leads, and that's the only, I mean, I do some on the ILC yet. Mostly right now, trying to just do mortgage and just
Yeah.
filling with final expense.
Okay. So can you walk me through the very first annuity you wrote, which was a really good size annuity? Can you kind of walk through how that all went, the process, and what that was like getting through it as a new agent?
So yeah, I talked to them and they told me that they already had they already had mortgage protection. They already went through this with some other agent, and that it covered the full mortgage. And they were probably, I don't remember their exact ages, but what they told me on the phone just really didn't add up. I think it was like $60 a month that was covering 330,000, and just didn't really add up to me that they had that. So when they told me they had something, I said, okay, who'd you go with? They told me the company, and I said, oh, are you severely unhealthy? That's kind of the line, kind of make them doubt themselves. And I showed up at the house, and the husband was completely deaf, and the wife was severely hard of hearing. So she could read lips really well. And then I kind of had to talk loud. And I just typed. Really, the whole appointment was basically on my iPad, just typing as fast as I could. And then they would read it and then type back, or I could understand her. She would talk back. And then the husband would just kind of sit over there and nod a little bit. So um, when I got to the house, though, they were ready for me. Walked right in, sat me down at the table, which was nice. And this was probably one of my first mortgage appointments. It was I started with a lot of heavy final expense, and that was just kind of the way that it was. Everybody was starting off, everybody with final expense, and then moving into mortgage. So I was already a little bit intimidated. And we sit down. She has her file, her plan right in front of her, and I really don't know what I'm about to see. I get it. I look at it, and I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, this is not adding up. Turns out they only had about $10,200 that was going to pay off. So once they saw that, I was just, I was like, okay, I think we can replace this and find something to put them in a better spot. Ended up going through Mutual of Omaha. They're both very healthy. Besides being hard of hearing, they're very, very healthy. And they actually got approved for, both of them got 100,000 $100,000 IUL. So that was, a big sale for me. Man, I was on cloud nine. I was all excited. Was able to help them out. and just kind of talked to him about where she told me that she worked in the school district. My wife worked in the school district, so I knew a little bit of, she's got some money backed up in a retirement plan. And I said to her, hey, how much of that? She told me she had over 500,000. I said, how much of that are you willing to lose? And of course, the response, none. I don't want to lose any. And I kind of backtracked. Okay, well, in the investment, everything's been crashing. I'm sure that you've lost some money. How much of that 500,000 would you like to be more stable? And she said, well, I'm okay with losing 100 and keeping that there to invest, but she wanted to take that 400 out and put it into annuity. So, man, I was completely clueless. I remember I was
Yeah.
on the phone. And when I was on the phone, or when I was still doing these mortgage leads at the beginning, I was still calling Richie in every home, and he was the one who told me to pitch the IUL. Called him in the house about the annuity, and he was like, okay, this is what you do. Kind of told me step by step, fill out the ask a specialist. And then, man, from there, it was just, you said at the beginning, man, I was completely clueless. I knew nothing of annuities other than what I just took on my test. And yeah, just went from there.
So when you submitted all that to ask a specialist, they sent you back a product and some bullet points on the main um main bullet points of that product and the
Right.
selling points, right? And so did you
Yep.
do that? Did Richie go with you or did you do it on your own?
No, Richie's in Georgia. So I'm in Virginia. So
Okay.
I got the bullet points. And then also, one thing that was super helpful was they had all those videos as well. So, what is the 101 on annuities? So I watched those videos on what even is an annuity, figured out the difference between what they were looking for was a little bit more of a higher guaranteed income, and was able to watch those videos. I did something because I wanted to be able to explain it. And I don't know if this is right. Maybe you don't want to put this on there, but since they were hard of hearing, I had them watch the videos too because I could put
Good.
the closed captioning on there, and then that really kind of helped them understand a little bit more too. So then my first time, I mean, imagine trying to explain something that you just learned to somebody who can't understand you, you know? So
No
I was
doubt.
like, I don't know what to do. So we watched the video, closed captioning. They had a bunch of questions, and I can't remember. I think her name is Lauren, or there's another lady that's on the team there. And I called her and called her, and I talked to her on the phone a few times, and I felt like I kept saying like I'm probably the most clueless person you're talking to right now. But she was really helpful, sent me a lot of resources and email, and really that's what helped me.
Man, I tell you what, Ryan, this is to me perfect because like that first appointment really couldn't have been any more difficult with communication, right? And I mean, especially agents think that annuities are so complicated that they're going to confuse the agent. You couldn't even really communicate easily. You had to do everything through typing, and so I think obviously moving forward, you continue to ask that question, right? What do you have that
Right.
extra life insurance? And you've submitted a few. You got one you're about to write again, and again, it's not something we expect people to write 10 annuities a month. It's if you're asking every day or every in every appointment, you should find maybe 1 to 3 people that are interested in talking to you. Are you going to close them all? No. Are you going to submit some that don't go through? Probably. But the ones that do, it's from start to finish. How complicated would you rate that process from finding the money to pitching it and then getting paid?
It wasn't hard at all for me. The hardest part was just they couldn't talk on the phone. So if
Oh,
they did talk on the phone, they had to talk through an interpreter, and that was a hard part. So we texted a lot, tried FaceTiming, that was not going to work. So I had to go back out there. But for me, it was about 20 minutes away, but it's worth it. I mean,
yeah.
when you get paid, you're not, you don't care about the drive time. So no, the biggest help to me was literally the ladies on the other end who dealt with all of my probably ridiculously dumb questions and emails back and forth, but they're very quick on replying too, which is very helpful. Like the other day, I was at a house and I said, "Hey, I'm literally sitting outside his house. Can you answer this question for me?" And by the time I got up from the appointment, she already answered my question, which was really helpful. I cannot remember her name, but she's awesome, whoever she is.
The whole team over there is awesome. They really are. They do respond quick. They're very tentative, and they know what they're doing. They know what we need as agents to help us feel comfortable moving forward. So, right, I love this story. I think it's fantastic. I think it'll help a lot of people. Just in a sense of, if you got through all of that, not knowing anything, just with the support of the SRS team and and just a little bit of stick to itiveness. And it was, how big was that? How big was your first annuity?
400,000.
400,000. Guys, that's a pretty good payday, even at the starting annuity comp. So Ryan, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing with us. I think this is tremendous. I'm excited to see what you do moving forward. And again, I'm sure everybody appreciated this story because it's going to be a big help. So appreciate you guys hopping on. Until next time, make it a big week. Have a good one.